At the Book Cafe, we host sessions with great minds where we not only celebrate books but also engage with the brilliant authors behind them. We celebrate literature, art, and culture, and to create meaningful relationships that inspire readers and thinkers alike. Today, we are honored to host Mr. Bhagwant Singh Rawat. Sir has retired from a senior post as a scientist G in December 2020 from Instruments Research and Development Establishment, a DRDO in Dehradun. After retirement, he ventured into the literary world and has authored two books. His debut novel, Quarter Moon, Full Moon, and his second book, Four New Stories for Young and Old People. Both books are available on Amazon India and at the English Book Depot in Dehradun. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today. It is truly a pleasure and privilege to host you. So, yeah. Talking about your journey, so you retired from a different career as a senior scientist at DRDO. What inspired you to venture into the literary world after retirement?
First of all, thank you, Sneha, for the welcome and my introduction. See, basically, when I when I was a kid, then I was very fond of reading, and I used to read a lot of books, like your Hindi books, English books, that comics, whatever I could lay my hands on, I used to read them. And so it is basically a mindset. When I grew up, then I felt that I wanted to write something. I want to create something. I can write something. So based on those feelings, when I grew up, I thought, okay, I should do some creative work. So I do it because one thing is that I think it is a mindset. All people who read, they will not go into writing. It is a mindset, maybe a natural thing, but the thing is that it gives me some satisfaction. That is why I ventured into this writing.
That is truly inspiring. And could you tell us about your literary journey? Like, when did you first begin writing and what motivated you to pursue it seriously?
Okay, the first story that I wrote, it was in Hindi, and it was in the local newspaper Dundarpan. It got published. So I went there to their office. It was in the Rajpur Road near Ashley Hall, and then I gave them that piece of paper. I was not sure that it will be published. You think both ways. It may be published, you are doubting. But few days later, then they got published it. And they gave it a good coverage. They put it in the top half page of one of the inside pages. And so that was the first time I saw my name in the print, and it made me very happy. And after that, what I did, I thought, okay, there's a Dehradun classified which we get in Dehradun. It is put free with the newspaper on Sundays. So I thought, okay, and they were normally for ads, local ads. They were putting in the Dehradun classified, and they also used to put some local news and some articles. And I thought that if I can put some humorous articles, then they may get published. And so I started putting sending them articles, and I sent whatever articles I sent, they published it. And some 8-10 articles I published over a few years. Then one day I got a call from one Mr. Raj Kaur. So he said, what I used to do, I used to put my phone number in that below my name. So from there, he contacted me and he told me that I like your writing, what you write. So later, I also met him and I found that he's an elderly gentleman, and he he used to write regularly for local newspapers, and he was also a member of Dun Club, and from what I could gather, he was quite well known in the local circles in Dehradun, I think social circles. So it was encouragement to write further. After that, what happened? I wrote a long story, and then that time I had to go to Missouri for some course, some 10 days course from office. So our office institute there is in the ITM, Institute of Technology Management. It is in the Lal Tibba area, and it has probably one of the best locations in Missouri. And as you go to the institute, there is a residence of Mr. Ruskin Bond when you start climbing that hill. And so I took my story to Mr. Ruskin Bond. I told him, "Hey, sir, please read it and give your comments." Then I left the story with him, and after a few days, I again came back to him. Then he has read the story in the meantime, and he said it is very nice, and he has put a comment there on the top corner, a worthy endeavor. So that was again, you get encouraged basically when people say it is good. That story I put it in the Gadwal Post. So it was a quite long story, and they put it in two parts. First part they published in one day, and it was covering the entire page, almost entire page. And second part they published after a few days. The name was, I think, Alfie Wallace, A Love Story. So after that, what I did, the Times of India were taking out a supplementary paper, 4 pages supplement from Dehradun. They called it Dun Plus. And they were asking readers to contribute, local readers to contribute in those papers. So it was good for me, and I have to send only email. So again, then I sent to them some 6, 7 articles, all humorous articles, because humor is one thing that people can read and they can like easily. And they published everything what I sent them. One of the article was about the bosses, because I think bosses is yes boss. They put the name themselves, and people like, well, with boss you can have a lot of humor. Then one article I wrote about horoscopes, the silly way the horoscopes are predicting things. So one horoscope was there were 3, 4 horoscopes, and they were continually predicting that there's a new romance in your life. And I was almost 40 that time. So I said, okay, I can make a story out of it. And so I made a story and it got published. And after those stories, those articles in Times of India, Dun Plus section, I thought, okay, let us think about a novel. So that was quite some time. I think it was around 2007 something I started writing. And I have lived for office for many years, and then you get experiences. You get experiences in office. You get experiences in your family, with your friends. I used to travel a lot from office to different places. So all those experiences, when you get them, you feel okay. You can try to make a story out of it. So that is how I started, and that story took a long time. It took more than a decade to complete. Only after I retired, I could complete it, and but I never wrote it regularly. I wrote it on and off. Like I would not write for weeks and months sometimes because I was not finding time, and then I was not in that frame of mind to write. My mood was not right to write that time, so I was not writing. And after I completed the novel, then I was looking for publishers, and then I could not find any publisher. But that was not very disappointing because the big publishing houses, they don't entertain new writers. So I thought I will get it self-published, and that is how it came in print. And after that, I put it in Amazon as an ebook and also as a print book. So that is also a sort of learning because you know how to write an ebook, how to make your document, first to write it, then to get the copyright, then ISBN, then getting your that EPUB, electronic publication format, we have to do it. And for printing also, there are a number of things you have to take care of. So that is how and after that novel, I wrote that my second book.
Okay, that is really amazing, sir, and it's interesting to understand the origins. So, talking about your first book, that is your debut novel, Quarter Moon, Full Moon, would you like to tell us about something about that book?
Well, this Quarter Moon, Full Moon is my first novel, and it is a story of growing up of a girl, Miran, and Miran has roots in the mountains, and she is a young girl, simple, sincere, honest, and then she arrives in a new city from her native place to join her first job in a new city and in a big office, in a small post of technical assistant. So when she gets a job, she's happy and she's enjoying her new life with her new friends at a new place and with the money that now she herself is earning. Then she is also learning how an office operates, how how about the office politics, about the office environment, all that she is learning in the office. Then 2 years later, she falls madly in love with the senior officer Guru. Guru is a highly respected officer or top officer of their office in another division, and Guru is much older to her, married and with kids. And Miran is not even sure that Guru reciprocates her feelings. So basically, in the story, there are two threads, I can say, two threads, I call them. So first thread is that office life, how the office life goes in a big office. And second thing is a young girl madly in love with the person whom she cannot have. So around this, I built the story. And like Miran, her whole world was revolving around a man. She was thinking about him all the time, and she was whatever she was doing, that person was in her mind. And when her brother, who was staying abroad, comes to visit her, then she makes him meet Guru to impress the Guru. And when she goes to her hometown and she meets her friend, to meet her friend, then again she tells him about her that lover. And so the story is basically one story. One part is Miran describing her feelings about Guru. And then second part is the office world where she is where she has to live, where she has to work basically. And in the office, there are very few genuine people, good people, and there are people who are scheming things. There are people who are insecure. There are people who are happy flattering the boss to get the benefit. And a typical office, if you see, a lot of things happen like that. So that is the story that I'm thread that I'm describing in the story. And then there is one more addition to third thread you can call. Far off from this office in another corner of the country, there are Mafi tribals living. The Mafis are they live in thick forested mountains, high mountains, and they have cut themselves completely off from the civilization. And they are very mysterious people. They have got a very fascinating history. And some people they say they are very good. Some people say they are very bad. But if somebody harms them, then they kill that person in a very gruesome manner. So that is a well-known fact. And once, a long time back, a modern woman, they accepted among themselves, and that woman lived with them and died with them, and she rose to a high pedestal. She became sort of goddesses for them, and she tried to bridge the gap between the modern world and the Mafis, and she succeeded for some time. Then she felt that something is wrong, and she withdrew from Mafis from the modern world. She said that they are better off in the jungles than with the civilized world, and she called them God's own children because it is basically saying that they also have some very good qualities, Mafis, which the civilized people were not having. Now, what happens that office and the Mafis, now the connection is that they have to go to the Mafi land for some their project work. So a big team goes there, and in that team, Miran is there, and Guru is also there, and other lot of other officers are there, and and so dangerous things begins to happen there. Once they enter the Mafi land, things goes wrong, and they are all got trapped. So that is the story. It is basically a love story, you can say, adventure, suspense, humor. Lot of humor is there because in office, lot of silly thing can happen, and that can create humor. So this is the story basically.
Thank you for sharing that, sir. It was wonderful to see stories connect with the readers and in real life also. So, you have experience of both scientific world and the literary world. So, do you see any connection between science and storytelling?
Well, I can't say anything often, but see, if you connection between science and literature. Literature, we use imagination, and Einstein, who is the considered genius scientist, we don't get people like him for centuries. And he said that imagination is more important than science. But he meant it in some other way. What he was thinking, he was imagining himself riding in a beam of light. But the imagination part is common in both literature and science also. It can be useful. After you got your facts, then for new things you have to imagine. It is not actually in literary sense, but that is one correction I see, imagination. And second thing is that if you read the science fiction writers like H.G. Wells, he wrote about Invisible Man, Time Machine, and these people, they they inspire and scientists, you can say, to get those things done. well, what he put in his book, scientists will try to, okay, is it actually possible? So that is also a connection we can say. So science fiction, they write a lot of things, and scientists may try to achieve them by scientific means.
That is such a profound perspective, sir. Thank you for that. And asking about you wrote two of your books, and your latest book is four new stories for young and old people. So, what message would you like to share with young people today?
Okay. See, young people, I feel tempted to say many things like work hard, work smart, make good habits. They will go a long way in helping you. But there are two things that I would like to I share with people. Even when I wrote in Pura, I write about these things. And first thing is that people will be telling young people already this thing, and they are knowing, and many young people are already implementing. So this thing is that health is wealth. Take your health seriously. Don't take it lightly, because once you get a disease, once you get in a problem, then life becomes difficult for you and for your loved one also, because then you become sort of burden and you don't like being in that stage. So take care of yourself if you want to live long, if you want to enjoy life more. If you get sick, then you have to spend money also in the medical things, which are already expensive. So don't, prevention is better. So take care of your health, get good sleep, get good food. You can have your cheat days, and do physical activity. Don't stress too much, because life is not endless. So that is one thing I wanted to share with the young people. And second thing that I want to share is that I think not many people tell young people. So that thing is that it is my personal belief, my personal experiences. What I want to tell to young people is that carry God with you in whatever you are doing. You think that there is a supreme power who knows you inside out and who is always there to help you out. So whether you win or you lose, but you will be able to stride over that thing, because when you carry God with you, and in the world that we are getting into, a lot of stresses, a lot of things are there, and people get depressed. So if you learn, learning is important. Not saying just take God with you, but learning to believe that there is somebody who is there and who will take care of you, and you are not to leave anything on God. You have to do everything yourself. But you have to believe that yes, a power is there, who will be there, and the help comes. That is what I feel. So that is all I would like to say.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for sharing your journey and your thoughts with us today. And it has been really, truly a enriching conversation, and we deeply appreciate your time and presence. And on the behalf of the Book Cafe, the English Book Depot, thank you once again for joining us. Thank you, everybody. And these two books, Quarter Full Moon and the four new stories for young and old people, are available on Amazon India and also in the English Book Depot. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, sir.